afternoon and a warm welcome to another news hour on Jamono Media and Products. First, we begin with our headlines. The leader of the United Democratic Party, Ousainou Darboe, clears air after health scare. Victims blame President Adama Barrow for emboldened ex-President Yahya Jammeh. Mai Ahmed Fati, the leader of the Gambia Moral Congress, gets all clear to contest election. The Manding Network Group tells IEC to put its game ahead of December polls. Those were our headlines, and now the news in detail. Following intense rumors about his health after his withdrawal from the campaign trail Monday, the UDP leader Ousainou Darboe has said his brief absence in the ongoing political campaigns in the LRR was because he came for a medical checkup in Banjul after he tripped. Immediately after his party announced that he was taking a break, while speculations grew that he may have been hospitalized after suffering a heart stroke in Kenya. But speaking to Ker Fatou last evening, Darboe explained, "He was well treated and we tried to see if I can get treatment at the Mansakonko Health Center, but there are no extra facilities available there. So we had to debate whether to go to Bansang or to come to Banjul. It was decided that even though the facilities may be available in Bansang, but they may not be sufficient, and the doctor advised that I should go to Banjul and have the best. I am well and okay. It is only normal that if such things happen, you have to go and check. It was only not happy that I could not attend the meeting in Mansakonko," Darboe said. Mr. Darboe said the lack of basic facilities at the Gambian health post was vindicated his arguments that health centers should be equipped to function well. "This is why I am asking the Gambian people to vote for the UDP so that we can address the huge inadequacy. This is why I am asking the Gambian people to vote for UDP so that we can address the huge inadequacies in our healthcare system as covered in our 5-point agenda. We will cut the expenditure on unnecessary travels and put them into meaningful social activities that will impact the lives of Gambians," the UDP leader assured. Darboe also remains optimistic about his party's changes in the upcoming election. He claimed that the UDP will sweep polls in December as he described LRR as the party's fixed deposit, while West Coast is its savings account. He also lashed at his nemesis NPP of President Adama Barrow, calling them noisemakers. They had to return to Basse before they referred that "We, the UDP, has dismantled their plots of deception." According to Darboe, the people of Basse have turned their backs on President Adama Barrow because they realized that he cannot deliver their levels. He needs urge on all UDP supporters to turn out massively to welcome the returning campaign entourage today, Thursday, at his residence in Pipeline. The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations has blamed President Adama Barrow for emboldening former President Yahya Jammeh, who has now become a regular figure in country's election campaign through his almost daily telephone calls from Equatorial Guinea. President Barrow has angered the victims and many concerned people for counting Jammeh's APRC to support his re-election bid. The president even made a trip to Jammeh home in Kanilai. However, the former president opposed any alliance with Barrow's NPP, leading to a deep split in the APRC. The former president has a big following in the party, part of which he led to back GDC's Mama Kande. Jammeh regularly calls GDC APRC rallies to condemn Barrow's regime. However, according to victims who continue to ask for justice for rights abuses, President Barrow was the first to embrace and embolden Yahya Jammeh. It was Adama Barrow who invited Jammeh into the country's political decision and democratic process. If Barrow had not gone into an alliance with the APRC, Jammeh wouldn't have had the audacity or the guts to speak in any political forum in this country. Victims Center Chairman Sirif Kijera told the Standard. Mr. Kijera added Adama Barrow is quite a disappointment and his actions are quite despicable and disgraceful and beyond comprehension. How could any sensible person embrace Yahya Jammeh after listening to all revolutions at the TRRC? He said Barrow has caught the entire victim community by surprise for deciding to work with the enemy even before the TRRC submit its report to him. The guts Jammeh has to rant is entirely Barrow's fault, and for him to threaten GDC and Mama Kande about something he started is the most senseless and graceful action to be taken by a president. So we are very disappointed, he said. I think Mama Kande and Adama Barrow don't deserve respect from any Gambian because the way they are behaving is quite embarrassing and shameful and also selfish. All they are after is their ego and selfish interest, Kijera said. He added that Jammeh should be condemned by all well-being meaning Gambians because he doesn't deserve respect as a senior statesman. All they deserve is to be put in chains and escorted to a court of law to answer for the atrocities he committed in this country. Jammeh knows more than anybody that the international community is ready to bring him to book. He knows in his mind he wants to do everything possible to cause chaos in this country, he said. Meanwhile, the American Human Rights and International Commission for jurist lawyer Brett Brody, who works with Jammeh's victims, commented, he knows that if victims who were tortured or raped or have their loved ones killed under Yahya Jammeh, it will be painful to see him trying to play kingmaker instead of answering atrocity charges before a court of law. However, I think his time may be coming soon. Mai Ahmad Fati, the presidential candidate of the Gambia Moral Congress, has been cleared to contest the forthcoming presidential election by the High Court, prescribed over by Justice Amina Saho Ceesay. Justice Ceesay's decisions came barely 24 hours after she delivered a similar verdict in favor of Dr. Ismaila Ceesay of the Citizens Alliance, who too petitioned IEC over his rejection. In his ruling in the Mai Fati case, she declared that the Independent Electoral Commissions did not comply with the Elections Act. She further declared that the IEC rejection of Mai Fati is null and void and tantamount to violation of his constitutional right to contest the presidential elections on December 4th. Justice Ceesay revealed that the High Court has jurisdiction to hear and entertain this matter, noting that she totally disagrees with the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. A representative that she doesn't have jurisdiction to hear matter. She ordered that the IEC should allow Mai Fati to get refreshed and additional nomination list of names and signatures. She enclosed that the court has the discretion to award costs and therefore award the sum of $200,000 as costs against the Independent Electoral Commission. Meanwhile, speaking to the Standard after the victory, Mai Fati said, "The ruling today reinforces overconfidence in the new Gambian judiciary. Gambian democracy has been further consolidated and our republic is the winner. Every Gambian can be proud that a Republican constitution has yet again been accorded his rightful status in a democratic state. We went to court not only to protect and enforce entrenched constitutional rights, but more so to establish the principle that officials entrusted with such humongous powers comply with the law. IEC is a curator of status. Its employees or officials hold awesome powers of political hell or heaven on nominations. Such extraordinary powers can be easily abused or misused. That was what the IEC did in my case. They intentionally misapplied the law to disenfranchise us. And worse still, there is clear evidence that the IEC has not learned its lessons and appeared not ready to make amends. The consequences may stretchen our democracy or set the country ablaze. Our action in court is intended to protect for the leaders who aspire for the highest office to be treated in accordance with the mandatory requirement of the law and not according to the subjective inclination of anyone. We are fully prepared and not get to the trail, although they intended to absolutely frustrate the effects of the country's ruling in all manner possible. We will conduct a press conference tomorrow to speak on the nation about way forward. The group of concerned Gambians demanding network has called on the Independent Electoral Commission to avoid making any errors in December amend in terms of political environment. In a statement signed by its president Lamin Antejaju, shared with the Standard, the group said we urge the IEC to put up to avoid making the mistakes they have made in 2016 because this election is completely different. We are not anticipating any margin of error. The group said it is worried about how the commission started flattering its law well before the election by wrongly rejecting the nominations of Mai Ahmad Fatih and Dr. Ismail Sisi. We are very concerned about the current political situation in the country. We are worried that any margin for error from the Electoral Commission could put this country into chaos. We urge all Gambians to be vigilant and avoid causing any uncertainty in the country, the group added. The group also raised serious concern over the security implications the NPP-APRC alliance could generate. We are worried because there are hundreds of victims who are very disappointed in the president's decision to work with the APRC, he added. The group urged the government to do everything humanly possible to safeguard rights and freedoms of all candidates during and after the election. The government should avoid all forms of intimidation. Politics in our country is getting uglier day by day, causing division, hatred, and conflicts. We should reject all forms of rhetoric and unite regardless of our political and tribal differences. Political leaders should bear in mind there are certain fundamental rights you think to do if you want to win an election. To persuade people to vote for you, they must know who you are and know where you come from. Have difference in your platform and believe what you are the best person for the job. If you take the time to understand potential voters and get your message out, you can get the votes you need. It noted. Those were the stories for our today's newscast, and before we take a leave of you, let's take a recap on our top stories. The leader of the United Democratic Party, Ousainou Darboe, clears air after health scare. Victims blame President Adama Barrow for emboldened Jammeh. Mai Ahmad Fatih, the leader of the Gambia Moral Congress, gets all clear to contest election. The Mending Network Group tells IEC to up its game ahead of the December polls. Thank you for joining us, and I am your presenter, Mariama Gilenja. Do have a nice day.